Welcome all the viewers around the globe to this educational forum, Life Made Up of Questions. Today, I'm very happy to have a guest, Dr. Sikha. She's from Kerala, India. She has done her PhD in computer vision from Amrita Vishwavidyapitham, Ettimadai, Coimbatore. Currently pursuing her postdoctoral fellowship in Spain. In the domain, broad area of research is artificial intelligence and biomedical imaging. So, welcome, Dr. Sikha, to this forum.
Thank you, Dr. Harikrishnan, for inviting me for such a great session. So I've been following your channel. It's been a nice job that you're doing to bring in all the academicians, researchers from the different parts of the globe and have a nice interactive sessions. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so I hope that we can start with the interactive session. These questions are really made considering the curiosity from the student side as well as from the academia. So first of all, I would like to share you a question. Like artificial intelligence is everywhere. Is really trustworthy to use AI automated tools everywhere, especially in critical domains like healthcare or national security. So you are into this domain of AI and dealing with all these domains. So can you please share your expertise in this area?
Yeah, sure. So it's a very relevant question these days because of many regulations and rules that are coming across the globe. So as we all know, deep learning is everywhere. Everybody is talking about this, deploying AI tools across all the possible domains. But the basic question is whether they are, totally trustworthy. Uh, when it comes to deep learning or AI, as we all know, it is all about data. So how do we push data to the network so that it can learn some representations out of it? And based on the learned representations, it's gonna give some predictions or some decisions. So the first and foremost question is there anything inherently biased about the deep learning algorithms or models themselves? Or is there any bias with the training data? So these two aspects definitely gonna affect the predictions or decisions. So in this case, I should say we cannot trust a deep learning model, okay, as a human being. So that is always there. So when you talk about this trustworthiness of a deep learning model, I should mention something that happened, which is termed as code bias. So what is it? This is actually it is actually comes from a professor from MIT, Joy Bilomini. So what happened was we all know there are a lot of face recognition systems that is being deployed across different organizations to authenticate their employees. And most of the face recognition models, even we say that they perform even better than humans. So that's the kind of their accuracy when we see. But then what she found was, so the existing face recognition models sometimes fails to recognize, okay, women, especially black-skinned women. So this experience of her actually compelled to investigate further and start the Algorithmic Justice League against the actual so-called AI or artificial intelligence or deep learning stuff. And it turns out that, which was actually defined by a homogeneous group of men or whoever it is, the model that is being deployed is neutral. It is completely biased towards a gender and also towards race. So her research pushed the US government to create the first ever legislation to counter the far-reaching dangers of bias in technology. That is certainly gonna affect different, I mean, the entire life across the globe. So this is where it all started. Yeah. So the conclusion is it's not trustworthy. So there are many bias that may happen within the system in terms of the structure and also in terms of the data that we are gonna feed into the machine. So this so-called code bias, they ask two questions. One is, what is the impact of artificial intelligence increasing role in governing our liberties? We all say we have our own personal life or private life, and we have our own liberties. So but then when it comes to AI and apply to all the aspects of our life, how exactly it's gonna impact our lives. And the second major question is, what are the consequences of say for people stuck in the crosshairs due to their race, color, or gender. Because, say, for example, as a human being, suppose if I am applying for a bank loan and the bank is using an AI tool to decide whether they should give me a loan or not, based on few of my, historical data, and then they say I'm not allowed to, get um, at least a small amount of money. So it's totally like there is a lot of bias within the system and within the data.
Okay, fine. So that was a good answer and explanation from your side. So next question is that what is explainable artificial intelligence? How exactly this new area of research emerged? We know about artificial intelligence, but what about this new area?
Yeah. So as I explained, we cannot just proceed with AI models predictions as such. Say, for example, I am using a deep learning model to say whether a particular person has cancer or not. So I may train the model using, some positive samples as well as negative samples because I just want to see whether a particular person is having cancer or not. So in that case, we consider this as a binary classification problem because there are two classes involved, yes or no, and then we'll be pushing the model with the suitable samples that can, learn the pattern to differentiate between these two classes. So given that, um, I say that I train the model with, say, more examples with yes than less examples with the no class. So obviously, the model is forced to learn something more towards the positive class than towards the negative class. So, and then obviously, the model can generate an accuracy of, say, 99%. So when I say 99% accuracy, um, the meaning is the model is 99% confident in its predictions. Okay, but then the fact is the model is being trained with the biased data. So now when a new test data comes in, okay, and there are high chances that it may get misclassified. But it is always, okay for us to say a person without cancer is predicted as with cancer because as it goes in the future, in the actual, diagnosis process, at some point he's gonna know that, okay, I don't have cancer. That is always fine. But what if the other case around? Say, for example, a person actually has cancer, but it is being classified as the negative class. So it is actually kind of a life-threatening, decision that is being made by a deep learning model or an artificial intelligence model. So which is not at all acceptable, right? So so these kind of critical domains or application of AI into these kind of critical domains actually forced the researchers to come up with a new area of research, which is known as explainable AI or interpretable AI. That is not only the single reason, but then across the globe, now we have different regularization. For example, European Union has IDRP rule, which says that you cannot just believe a deep learning model based on a number, say 99% accuracy, if you want to deploy the model in a critical application, specifically say healthcare, as one example that I just pointed out. Rather, you need to have proofs for that. So far, all the deep learning models that exist is termed to be as black boxes. We don't know what exactly is happening inside the box. We are going to deliver or we are going to push some data to the black box. It is learning something within itself and gives some predictions. But we still don't know what exactly is getting learned or what is the reason behind the prediction. So explainable AI is a new research domain that actually helps us to understand what is exactly there in the black box. It is nothing but we are decoding the black box so that we should get some human understandable reasons behind the predictions. Say, for example, let us take an example of any, say, diagnosis. Okay, I'm going to diagnose any particular disease. So as a doctor, suppose if I'm a doctor, I may follow some physiological, rules, or I may have some physiological pipeline to say, okay, this is being diagnosed as that particular disease. So some human intelligence and also my historical experience is being applied there. So I will have my own reasoning behind my conclusion. It is not just like I have something, I mean, in front of me, say a CT scan or MRI scan, and then I just make the decision. It's not like that. So I will have some reasoning. Okay, this is this because of that. So that reasoning is very important when it comes to this critical applications. So this explainable AI tries to give predictions for a deep learning model, and it also tries to give what exactly the reason behind the prediction. So I would say this class, say this is a cat and dog classifier. When I give a new image to the classifier should say this particular image is cat because it has a whiskers, or because it has these particular features which is easily, understandable or interpretable to a human being. Yes.
Okay, that was wonderful insight into this domain of explainable AI. So let's move on to the next question. What is uncertainty in deep learning? Is it the same as explainable AI?
Yeah. So this question actually really matched with the kind of research that I'm currently doing here in University of Trompo Fabra. So I actually belongs to a research group called BC and MedTech. Also, we are an interdisciplinary research group where primarily we are looking forward to give some automatic, tools for surgery. So my job or my role in this group is to, give some explainable and also by considering this uncertainty in deep learning to give some computer vision solutions. So when it comes to uncertainty in deep learning, as I already mentioned, deep learning is all about you give some relevant data to the machine will learn some patterns out of it and give some predictions. So far the learned models, say for example, if you are looking for a two-class classification problem or a binary class classification problem with say two classes, 1 and 0, for any input, it is actually trying to say either 1 or 0. But then, as a human being, suppose if I am not so sure about my decision, I always have a freedom to say, sorry, I don't know the answer. So that freedom is there. But then for a deep learning model, there is no such a freedom because we are constrained the model to say either go for class 1 or go for 0 class. But what if the model is not at all confident in its decision? So we should have, a point where the model should be able to say, sorry, I don't know the answer. So that we can, give that particular test case to a human expert and then ask for expert opinion, get the input, and then you retrain the whole model so that the model will become more trustworthy or more reliable or more interpretable. So it's something like, you are giving some freedom to the model so that it need not always stick on to its on, so-called predictions. So that is all about this uncertainty, as a bird eye viewpoint. So, but then there are a lot, more in that. So it's something like, that will help you to make decisions or make better decisions while using all the so-called deep learning structures. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So let's move on to the next question. Why explainable AI and uncertainty in deep learning is important? Please explain related to your research area. Is
Yeah.
you're doing.
So, yeah, thank you. So maybe I should start with a very simple example. So for example, we are all, very well known to this self-driving cars. So, say for example, um, say a car is unsure about where there is a pedestrian on the road. Uh, the uncertainty is all about, we would expect the driver to take the lead and then make a decision, right? So similarly, when it comes to healthcare, as far as my research concerned, so I am dealing with I'm studying the evolution of cancer, particularly the abdominal cancer. So when it comes to the cancer diagnosis, the segmentation of the cancer cells or cancer tumor is very important. So primarily, currently we are working on the segmentation of tumors. So when it comes to tumor segmentation, the first and foremost thing is annotation that mostly will be done by a domain expert. So in this case, it will be somebody from the medical field, a radiologist. So assume that a radiologist is sitting and annotating the region. So annotation is something like where you sit and draw the region where uh, there is the lesion in CT scan images or any other modality that you are dealing with. So assume that a radiologist is sitting and annotating the region of interest, and then he or she is doing the same stuff for a long period of time. There are high chances that I may miss, certain part of the lesion, or I may include some other, because when it comes to abdomen, it is almost filled with a lot of organs. We have stomach, we have liver, pancreas, a lot of stuff. So they may went wrong when it comes to the annotation. And then we are using those annotated data to train a model, say to study the evolution of cancer in a particular organ over a period of time. And we want to assist the doctor saying, okay, after say 1 month or K months, this is what it is gonna be, and this is gonna affect different part of the abdomen. So to do that, the exact localization of the region of interest is very important. So we are primarily dealing with, we call this as inter-observer variability, because when different people annotate same image, there are going to be slight deviations in the mostly in the across the edges, but then that going to affect the entire prediction of the model. And we are trying to induce or we are trying to incorporate the concept of uncertainty into this pipeline, so that whenever a particular model is not so confident about its prediction, it should go back to the radiologist, and then it should we should ask the radiologist to have a look into that, so that there is no mistake in the diagnosis or any other aspect of the actual pipeline. Yeah, so that is the current work that we are into.
Okay, so you shared your expertise in your research area, that the domain of AI in biomedical field. So there are a lot of applications coming up in AI, in whether it's in commerce, arts, like we can see the virtual reality or the film with the actors can also be implemented. The filmmaking can also be, there will be a drastic change with AI. So all the domain, irrespective of technology, this with this AI, there will be a transformation. So the question is that nowadays all the students are confused. They are going back into this, going behind this computer streams, like computer science only. So what about the other field? Like, can it be blended? Because we are expecting after 10 years, everything will be combined together. So a person without any mathematical background or without any engineering background, if they are interested in artificial intelligence, is it possible for them to learn this subject or this area?
Yeah, so that is a very relevant and wonderful question, Dr. Hari, because in my opinion, yes. So if you are really interested in this AI, or if you are really interested to learn all these concepts, I should say a person or a student with no specific technological background can certainly learn artificial intelligence concept, because as you mentioned, it is multidisciplinary in nature. So if they have some interesting stuff in their own domain, they can definitely, take that domain expertise and then apply these AI concepts, which eventually, help us to come up with good solutions for most of the, real world problems. Say, for example, I could point out how exactly they can, groom themselves to become, or at least to familiarize with these concepts. One is to gain a very basic understanding of AI. So maybe the students can start by studying some introductory materials about AI, just to understand the fundamental concepts and terminologies. So there are so many online courses, books, articles, and blogs, everything, available for beginners. So that could be the first and foremost starting point. Obviously, when it comes to AI, mathematics and programming is something like, compulsory. So they should be open to learn all these stuffs. So without programming, we cannot even think about how they are going to develop a machine learning model or a deep learning model or anything. So again, the solution is there are a lot of online courses, tutorials. So I would suggest them to particularly start with Python because there are a lot of deep learning libraries and a lot of easy stuffs that are available in Python. So they can just start learning programming and the mathematics. I think the maths part, it is almost like everybody might have had a some basic concepts already because they might have completed their 12th standard. So mathematics always it's it's compulsory everywhere. And apart from that, they can also look into online courses and MOOCs. Say, for example, there are many platforms like Coursera, edX, or Udacity, or Udemy. So these platforms actually offer some courses, even though if they are not interested because they are finally they demand for some payment. But auditing a course is always free as far as I understand. And they also do have hands-on projects and which are short um, which won't take much time. So, for example, a 2-hour project where you will have an interactive, instructor as well, an interactive environment as well, so that they can just sit and do all these small programs interactively and try to have an understanding of how exactly all this stuff work. And another possible, point could be hands-on projects and join AI communities because in this era of social media and networks, this networking is all about if you know a place where you have to go and do the stuff, then that's it. So I feel join AI communities will definitely help the students who are really want to be in the domain. They'll definitely help to get they'll get a chance to meet and talk to the experienced individuals or listen to them and then maybe have a nice chat with them will definitely gonna help them to improve themselves and also to get motivated yourself. And the most important thing is practice and patience because learning AI could be challenging. So it is important to be patient because you never know when it's gonna be a success because you may have to face n failures before you find the first success. So a consistent practice and problem solving mindset will definitely help uh, to improve the skills over a period of time. So that is the most important aspect that I would say, to have patience and then practice consistently. So if you follow all this, and I feel like AI is accessible uh, to anybody without any particular technical knowledge.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Sikha, for your sharing your wonderful experience and expertise in this domain of AI. It was a wonderful insight to all the students and people and the faculty from the academia and industries also. So the student will be motivated that irrespective of the domain, they can involve in interdisciplinary projects and it will be resulting in wonderful end results. So thank you for this sharing your valuable insight into this domain. So thank you and all the very best for your search domains. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hari, once again. So it was a really nice interaction. So I don't know how much I was able to, convince you or give answer to your questions because your questions were really wonderful. So thanks again, and all the best for your future endeavors also as well because you're doing a really nice job to get people on board and at least have some nice discussions. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.